tacos from heaven, and I mean that literally. Let's get going. I wanted to do something a little bit different today, and also something that kind of reminds me of my childhood. I have here abalone steaks, 3 abalone steaks, and I live here in San Diego. My dad used to scuba dive, and I grew up eating these things, and I can remember him literally coming home with like potato sacks full of abalone. For those of you who don't know what it is, I'm sure you've probably seen one of these shells before. This is an abalone shell, and actually this is one of the abalone shells that my dad harvested, and I have a bunch of these shells. But anyway, it's basically it has one big mollusk, kind of a foot coming out here, and they stick to rocks. Now these holes right here, you'll see little feelers coming out. I got into scuba diving in the early 90s, and I dove up into the 2000s, and then I just sort of hung it up for, I don't even know why, but I used to see these things, off the coast of San Diego on rocks. But when I got into diving, there was a moratorium, basically from San Francisco all the way to the Mexican border, where you could not collect abalone, basically because they were being overfished. The prices, they became really popular like in the 80s. Some of the countries that are really big into sushi, and so they were paying a premium price for this. Of course, the abalone fishermen were over-harvesting them, and they reproduced very slowly, so they went on a moratorium list, and now, unfortunately, I mean, the whole state of California, you're not allowed to collect these anymore, to harvest abalone. So, as I found out yesterday, when I bought these steaks, it's at a premium. The only place you can get them now is if they're farmed or like Mexico. And I bought these at a local fish market. This is about 8.6 ounces of abalone meat. It's already been pounded. You have to slice again, I'm going to call it a foot, into thin steaks and beat the hell out of it. Basically, my dad had this big wooden, like meat tenderizing mallet that he would just flatten them out till you could see through them. These have already been processed, but Dummy Greg basically paid, well, the price was $129 per pound, and this is a little over half a pound, so do the math. But I can tell you the flavor of it's undescribable, the flavor. I was talking to my buddy Justin from Baby Back Maniac yesterday, and it's really difficult to describe the flavor. It's very rich and yet light at the same time. It's got a very unique flavor. I mean, it looks like calamari, but it just sure doesn't taste like calamari. The best way to describe it, if you want to try to reproduce these tacos, is maybe with like a really good high quality fried clam, because it has kind of that rich flavor, but it's unbelievable how good these taste. I will post the link to where I bought these from. They don't know I'm doing this. I just went in there and bought these, but they do ship, I know that. So if you want to try this, or try abalone, it's amazing stuff. So I'm really excited about this. So what I'm going to do is just kind of slice these, and like I said, they've been really pounded, so you can see they're very fragile right now. Have here some all-purpose flour that I seasoned with adobo seasoning, some black pepper, and some paprika. I'm just going to bread these guys here. And here's what we're left with. Let's make some abalone tacos. So I'm using my Wildfire stainless steel griddle today. I have these burners on medium high. These burners are off. There'll be radiant heat here. This is will keep things warm. Kick this off with some pork lard. Get that abalone down. Right. Smelling freaking unbelievable. Right now we're going to take bacon. This is just minced up bacon, chopped up bacon. I'm going to crisp this up and render it down. A little bit of achiote paste. Going to give it a really cool color and kind of add a nice spicy flavor to it. Some cotija cheese. This with some fresh chopped cabbage, some avocado, thinly sliced, little salsa taqueria, some Mexican crema, and there we are. Some of that nice crust on the shell. Not as much as I wanted, admittedly, but it looks good. Cheers. This is freaking amazing. I had lime that I meant to squeeze on there, but it didn't need it. It was so really good. Self-critique. I had this vision of having the, the bacon and the cheese crusted onto the outside of the tortillas. Didn't work out as well as I wanted it to. And in hindsight, I wish instead of using cotija cheese, which is pretty dry, I would have used something like a Oaxaca cheese or like a queso quesadilla, queso fresco. Anyway, I should have used a different cheese, a melting cheese rather than the cotija. It seemed like a good idea because I love cotija, but it was a bad idea. Other than that, everything was exactly how I wanted it, so no other complaints other than that. But boy, brought back memories. It was so good, so good. Anyway, thank you for stopping by. Keep the suggestions rolling in. If you're not subscribed, please do. Make sure you hit the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Cheers.